All right, let me make sure that we are live. We should be live. We're gonna wait. We're not gonna get started until 8 o'clock, but I want to make sure that we are, in fact, streaming. Yeah, there we are. Cool. We are streaming. Okay, cool. So, hi everybody. My name is Jose Argumedo. I was one of the producers over at Discotech for the IGPX DVD release. This is not an advertisement, it's just its 15th anniversary, so I kind of wanted to go down memory lane and talk about the show. We're specifically going to be watching the Japanese version, or the IG cut of it. So if you have the Discotech release, you want this disc right here, disc 1, because we're going to watch the first 2 episodes. Disc 1 of the production IG cut. And as you can see off to the side, I have the video up so that you guys can hopefully sync up and watch along at home. This won't be up the entire time. That won't be up the entire time. It's mostly just for syncing purposes. So also, if you're in the chat, please let me know if you can hear me. Make sure that audio is coming through. In fact, why don't I just check that right now? Also, if you're in the chat, please let me know if you can. Okay, you can hear me. Cool. Okay, let me put that back the way it was. All right, so we're going to get started here in a few minutes. I'm going to tweet out the link again just to be safe. Do we have the pilot on the disc? Yes, the pilot is on this release, but we're not doing the pilot tonight. Oh well, actually, you guys want to do the pilot? We'll do the Japanese version of the pilot if you guys want to do that. I'll queue it up. I don't believe it's on this disc though. No, it's not on this disc. So I forget which disc it's on. There's so many special features on this thing. I should go ahead and pull up the IGPX.com because I don't know what's on these discs. I should know. I produced it. Let's see. Okay. The director's cut is on disc 3 of the Toonami version. So we'll get there when we get there. But we're going to start with the first 2 episodes. I'm just going to go ahead and let everybody get synced up so that you can watch it at home. This video will not be up the entire time because I don't want to get in trouble, and I don't want to show stuff. Go buy the DVD if you don't have the DVD. I'm really sorry, but go ahead and grab your DVD, get it into a DVD player. If you still have a computer with disk drive, queue up the episodes. We'll let everybody sync up. But yes, the pilot's on the disc, and you know what? We'll do the Japanese version of the pilot tonight, and then next month in November, we are going to go ahead and do the Toonami version because that's when it aired in November 5th. We're going to do that version sometime in November, probably on the first Saturday in November, I guess. Which I think that's I think that might be November 1st. We'll see. I'll tweet it out on the calendar. But thank you all for joining me. I should keep this on the. So again, we're going to start at 8 p.m., which is in about a minute here, so that everybody can get synced up. Thank you all for joining me. I know this is a small stream, but that's okay. Do you need... No, you can watch on the Bandai release. The Bandai release is fine if you have that. Or if you have the Bandai Visual Japan release, that's fine too. The sync is going to be a little off for if you have the old Bandai release because we have the Japanese title cards and the Japanese next episode preview, so the sync is going to be a little off. I'll pull the video back up for that bit, but you can watch along with the Japanese, or the either the Japanese disc or the Bandai visual release, or the Bandai Entertainment release, excuse me. So yes, you can absolutely watch along with those, and that would be disc 1, volume 1 on the Bandai release. I don't have it here. I do own it. I do own it. I just don't have it here with me. I've got this one with me. There seem to be jump cuts. Oh no. Are the jump cuts in the audio? That would be the more pressing issue. So let me know if there's jump cuts in the audio. All right, we're gonna get started here pretty soon. I'll let everybody sync up. If you're in the chat, let me know if you're all kind of good to go, and we'll get started. I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna do the English dub on this one, so that's a little easier for me to follow along. Signs and songs. Okay. And I'm gonna turn the audio back on. Turn that down a little bit so I can still hear. All right. Just visual, just very solemn. Pay those animators. Find it fascinating. Pay those animators. Okay. I don't know if you know this. I'm not a cartoon. Wind Ryu 121. But anyways, all right. Let's. All right. We're technically late now, so let's go ahead and in 3, 2, 1, time to shine. There's episode 1 pulling up. So I'll let the intro run so everybody can start syncing in. Let me put this off to the side so I can see the chat a little easier. Making an animation joke. That's cool. Just be clear, I'm not a cartoon. So this is Grand Rodeo or Grand Rodeo. I'm not sure how it's actually pronounced. This is Go For It. And this was their first anime song, and they've gone on to do a lot of stuff. They do that basketball anime with Production IG, I'm sure. I don't know the name of it. They do a lot of those songs. They did Needless. They did Bungo Stray Dogs. So they've gone on to do a lot of stuff, but this was their first. This was their first theme song. So, yeah. Oh man, so nostalgic. Turn it up a little bit so I can hear a little better. All right. Just a reminder, after the intro, I'm going to go ahead and take the video down, so if you're still not sunk up, we are at the 3 mechs. Backwash? I don't know. It's a basketball anime. I don't remember which one it is. I mean, I know I can visualize it in my head, but it's not there. Anyways, all right. That's the intro. No, it's not Robot Basketball. Kuroki's Basketball or something like that. It's like a real basketball show. All right. And that's time to shine. We have started the episode, so I cannot play the rest, but hopefully you're following along at home. And here we go. So this is our first shot of IG City, and our introduction to the track. There's Takashi. Woo! Again, we're watching the English dub today. Sorry, guys. If you want to watch the Japanese version, there are differences in the Japanese version as well. But yeah. So those title cards, if you're watching on the Bandai release, those title cards weren't there, but that's okay. Something we added, or we'll put back because it was in the original, but Bandai took it out. There's Rolling Stone. This is Team Rolling Stone, the Green Robots. They don't get named in the anime. The only reason we know their name is because they're named in the Japanese pamphlets that came in the original DVD. And they show up a couple of times in like the simulators and stuff like that. So they're going upside down on the robots. I always kind of wanted to see what would happen if a robot fell while it's doing that big loop-de-loop, but instead this guy goes flying backwards through the track instead of like flying off the track but nope. He somehow stays on. I guess he was just moving too fast, but whatever. We left physics behind a long time ago. Takashi being a jerk and leaving his teammates behind. It's interesting watching. So I just recently watched the Toonami version, and it's kind of weird, like how much the how there's like little differences, like just in pacing and in terms of like even line reads are different from the dub. It's kind of, you know, it's these little things that they made changes to, but yeah, they were making changes, man. Satomi's hit the big leagues. Woo! Feels weird not having the video up, but I can't do it. So, Satomi's moving on to the IG1. They were IG2 pilots. There's apparently 3 IG leagues: IG1, IG2, IG3. IG3 is the lowest of the low. In fact, in the pilot, in the original pilot, the micro series, they were an IG3 team, and through a lottery, they were selected to be the to go up against like an IG1 team. So basically, it would be like moving a minor to the majors. Got the license when it's partially owned by Cartoon Network. So the licensing thing, I can't go super into, as there are things in there that are confidential. But basically, the license for the home video release in the United States is not owned by Cartoon Network. It's owned by Bandai. So Bandai got their... we licensed... Discotech licensed it from Bandai, and that's how we got to work on the show. Cartoon Network, I mean, Cartoon Network gave permission, obviously, like, I think this was before I was involved in the project, but Selby did, ask Jason for permission to put it out on DVD, but I don't think he technically needed it. I think it was more just like, I might as well just ask. And then he announced it, and I got involved, with the project, and put out this version on DVD. And this, I should also say, this is not an advertisement for IGPX on DVD, but you know, I'm super biased, but this is my preferred version, and I think it's personally the best version of the show anywhere in the world. So if you can pick up the Discotech release, it's still in print. Again, not an advertisement. I'm just a fan, but I also worked on it, so I should probably disclose that. Sorry, it's like raining like crazy outside, but yeah. Anyways, we just passed a couple of differences from the Toonami version. They just cut a bunch of these lines, and they also like quickened the pace a lot so that they're much closer together. And we're on the little montage with like my little favorite bit of animation by Hiroyuki Okiura. I think I pronounced that correctly. He directed Jinro, and the scene with Liz doing her martial arts, just it looks so fluid and it's so gorgeous looking, and that was Okiura. He did I believe the key animation on that. The show was directed and storyboarded by Mitsuru Hongo, who directed Outlaw Star. And if you watched Outlaw Star, like there's a lot of like little parallels between it and this. Specifically, like Outlaw Star had a lot of character moments. There's a lot of like great character moments. Hi, Arthur. There's a lot of great little character moments, and IGPX has that in spades. Like it just has a lot of IGPX has a lot of little character moments. So fun fact about this DVD. This DVD is actually one of the first ones off the production, and it's messed up. So I don't know where my actual retail copy is, but the reason this one's messed up is because the disc art is misprinted and it has the Toonami version on the IG discs, and the IG discs have the Toonami version. It was a huge mess when we had to delay the release. But yeah, I should probably stop promoting this so much. But yes, I also have mine signed as well. Arthur, did I sign yours? I don't remember. I think I signed yours, right? I feel like I signed somebody's. We're introduced to all the teams. Woohoo! Team Satomi is being introduced to Skylark, and there's Fontaine. Sledge Mama. I should probably start talking about the cast a little bit. Like, Mark Hamill is the lead voice of Team Sledge Mama. He plays Yama. If you're joining us, I'm going to go ahead and put the video back up for a little bit so you can sync as to where we are. We're in the ceremony. We're in the ceremony part of the thing. We're about to be introduced to Team Velstein. So, just so newcomers can sync up. And we're going to go ahead and take the video back down. I just realized you can see it in the reflection of my glasses a little bit. There's the video. I should also clean my glasses. Thank you for joining me tonight. Again, Velstein calling out Satomi. I don't know. Anything else I can talk about? Licensing, I guess. As I guess people know by now, the show was written off by Cartoon Network, and because of the way the show was set up production-wise, because Cartoon Network doesn't solely own the show, it was able to come back. So when people say stuff like, well, IGPX came back, that totally can happen for Megas XLR. It's not the same thing. Nobody else, Megas XLR, for example, is only owned by Cartoon Network. That's it. IGPX is owned by, it's called the IGPX Production Committee, and there are 5 or 6 or 7 companies that own the rights to the show. And yeah. I might as well start bringing out. I'm gonna start bringing out some other IGPX merch. This is the manga. This is the official manga. I've never seen it translated, unfortunately. I've never even seen like a pirated version translated. So I should maybe look into getting it translated so I can finally read this thing. I'm pretty sure it's just a recap of the first season, and it's just 1 volume. It's not that hard to find. I was able to find it pretty easily. But yeah, here's Team Sledge Mama. They're intimidating our boy. Alright, we're coming up to a commercial break, so I'm going to go ahead and put the video back up so you guys can sync, in case you're out of sync. So since it's a Japanese version, these are the Japanese bumpers, which look different from the Toonami bumpers. The Toonami bumpers have a CG animation by Brand New School, and this is, I think, probably IG doing it themselves. Alright. Sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm also trying to watch the show at the same time. Kind of hard. It's kind of like doing an audio commentary all over again a little bit. But it's, yeah. I remember doing the audio commentary on the Discotech release, and I was like, oh, I gotta talk about this, I gotta talk about that, I gotta talk about this, I gotta talk about that. And I'm like, the show's going so fast. We're already halfway through, and I feel like I haven't talked about anything. I haven't really talked about the characters that much. Or the cast. I mean, our main guy is Haley Joel Osment. He's talking to an anime mainstay, Kirk Thornton, who plays Mark, who in the Japanese version doesn't have the same name. His name in the American version is Mark Ramsey, and in the Japanese version, it's Masu Ishikawa. And I've never asked, but I feel like the Masu Ishikawa is maybe an in-joke with IG. IG's president is... I forget his first name, but Ishikawa. So I feel like that might be a little bit of an in joke. It's M. Ishikawa. And they have the same initials. Andre, the Rocket. Spoilers. Oh shit, I probably shouldn't have said that. But Andre is the coach of the IG team. He's played by Lance Henriksen. Again, the actors in this are just so good. Especially Andre. Andre just steals every scene he's in. But it's kind of funny to think about like how, like that line read from Michelle Rodriguez, who plays Liz, is totally different in the Toonami version. I'm gonna put this more center so I'm looking into the camera. Oh no, I can't do that because then I can't see the chat.
Sorry, I had no idea you could see the future. I guess you're not going to need a great coach, so this whole thing is a waste of time.
So, our team here getting a little testy. This little montage with Takashi. Hot Dog Guy, who of course is played by Toonami co-creator Jason Marco, and is... I love the Hot Dog Guy simply because that's just what Hongo thought an American hot dog vendor would look like, with an eye patch and, you know, kind of that burly guy. It's a perfect role for Jason. Johnny Lipkin, who, oh man, I should probably look up who plays Johnny Lipkin. Hi, Frank. Welcome to the stream. So what's cool about the cast is just like how much mingling there is between anime voice actors, American voice actors, and like, you know, live action people. So, okay, I see what you guys are seeing now. Like, I keep skipping frames. There's nothing I can do about that. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Hopefully you can hear me. That's the most important thing. I have an excellent collection. I'm on Fiverr, so I don't know why it's lagging so much. But hello. Playing Watch World, which is a cool little game. Obviously, they're never going to make it, but it'd be kind of neat, I think, just a game in that kind of weird art style. I think which is kind of like influenced by like Shin-Chan. Alright, there goes. Amy and Luca. I love Luca. He's such a cool cat. I say that owning a dog, but Luca's a cool cat. It's raining like hell outside. I picked a real nice night to do this. I hope it's not being picked up on the stream, but it is raining real hard outside. This is another scene. I'm going to go ahead and put the video up. There's another scene. It's up in the corner there. That's Hiroyuki Okiura again, because you can tell how fluid it is. And he didn't do any rotoscoping or anything, as far as I know. He's just that good of a key animator, and it just looks amazing. I love this scene so much because just the animation is brilliant looking. They really went out on this show animation-wise. Like, there are some... I think episode 1 is probably the best looking episode, but there are some like other really gorgeous looking episodes throughout the entire series.
You don't think you can beat me, do ya? What's wrong with you? You wouldn't understand.
Oh man, I love the animation in the scene. Everything's just so expressive. It's so fluid. It just looks gorgeous. But of course, Takashi, being the cocky punk he is going to get put flat out on his back. And down goes Takashi, because he sucks. Right now he sucks. He'll get better.
Call me when you want to try again.
Alright. So that's the end of that scene. I'm going to go ahead and take the video back down so I don't get in trouble. But yeah, I don't know. Any other questions about IGPX? Chat's kind of quiet. There's Benjamin Bright. Played by Tom Kenny. SpongeBob, y'all.
Well, guys, our big day is finally here. We're in the
I'm not used to live streaming on YouTube, so like it's kind of weird having OBS open and then also having the YouTube page open.
Team Satomi, let's win!
Ho, ho, ho. That is something they kept from the Japanese version. I guess I don't know what else they could have done, but like I feel like that's a typical like Japanese chant that they had to somewhat make something you can listen to. And wouldn't have it look out of place, wouldn't have it look like weird. But yeah. Getting ready to do the race. Oh man, I've barely talked about this episode. I'm really sorry, guys. I've been so distracted. Amy and Luca. Luca being a little bit of a pessimist. See you later, Masu. I guess that would be weird to call him... Well, I guess it's not weird to call him Masu. But, like... Yeah, I'm glad they changed those two names. Himawari Aoi is the other one. Jessie had her name changed to Himawari Aoi. And it kind of... Thankfully, because I feel like that's a little hard to pronounce. Takashi, I think, is totally easy, though. Grab my chair. So we're coming up to the end of the episode here. There are a lot of dialogue changes, even between the two versions of the Japanese and the English version. Like, I believe, like, a couple of seconds ago, the line that was said was not Benjamin Bright's, it was Liz. And I believe now Benjamin Bright is explaining everything. They have very different dialogue. It's super interesting to go through the two episodes and just like look at all the changes between the two of them, because they really made a lot of changes. I think for the better, because like yeah,
Still saying we can win. Now let's go out there and get it done.
it's still a very faithful dub, but it's very much like it's kind of in the vein of Cowboy Bebop, where the Bebop script is not close to what the Japanese script is, but they changed a lot of stuff so that it would be easier to digest and easier to understand for Western audiences, and just sound correct. All right, we're coming up to the end of the episode. I'll put the video back up so we can all sync. There's our to be continued. Did you have to get anything approved by the Japanese licensors when editing? We didn't edit anything. So I don't think so. I mean, we had to get approved. If you're talking about the DVD release, we didn't edit anything out. If you're talking about the Toonami version, that was, I mean, IG was fully aware of what Toonami was doing, and that, that was all cleared like back in 2005. Like, they knew that they were going to do their own version, because one, they had to fit it into a 22-minute time slot rather than a 24-minute time slot, and then Toonami wanted it to be their show, and they had more extra time, because the Toonami version aired a month after the Japanese version, like to the day, a month after. Which is why we're watching the Japanese version, the Japanese version and not the Toonami version. Anyways, this song, I forget the name of it. I think it's like Believe in Me or something like that, by Exige? I don't know. I don't really like this song that much. This is something new to our release. So the new stuff. This is something that was brand new. Wasn't on the old Bondi DVD. This is the next episode preview, and which we had newly translated by Stephen Paul, who is the official One Piece translator. And some things like Sledge Mama he made 2 words. I had to make that 1 word. That was one of the biggest changes. Here we go into episode 2. Do I need to pause and let everybody catch up? Or are we good? Alright. So I'll let everybody sync up again to the intro. This is episode 2, Win or Lose. I'm trying to think of any... For the DVD release on the Discotheque side, it was pretty simple. There wasn't a lot of work that we had to do. I think part of it was just like, since we had... Jason was pretty involved in the approval process, so when he said yes, the Japanese side basically said yes too. And so we got to basically do most of everything that I wanted. I think if I have any regrets about this release, I think number 1, there is a loud siren outside. I'm really sorry, everybody. I don't know if you can hear that. There was a very loud siren. But I guess if there was a thing that I didn't, I have regrets about this release. I regret not doing a closed captioning track on the Toonami version, especially since a closed captioning track was already done. We could have just used it, but I didn't know about it at the time, so I kind of regret that. I don't know. I want to do a Blu-ray one day, but that's another licensing issue that I'm not sure I can get into. Ditto streaming. Like, there are lockups regarding the show. Believe me, I have tried, and I have looked into it. What does this red thing mean? Is it just bad connection, maybe?
No doubt. If the captain stays in this mood, Takashi...
I'm dropping a lot of frames, apparently. I'm sorry, everybody. Oh, I gotta take the video down. Whoops. Whoopsie doodle. Bye, video. No more video. Hope you guys synced it up.
We gotta stay in formation.
Maybe if you keep up, well, maybe you're an idiot. Well, this idiot wants to win.
Will they ever grow up?
Sorry, I know I keep scratching. It's just itchy over here.
They'd simply insist that all IG pilots were
Trying to think of... There's so many line changes I'm noticing right now. Just like all this stuff that was taken out of the Toonami version. I know the Toonami version very well. But this used to be my go-to version simply because when it was out from Bondi, the Bondi release was so confusing that like I wasn't really sure what I had bought. So I bought the volume sets, and then I didn't realize like, oh, that's not what aired on TV. And when I watch them back to back, especially when I was editing the when we were putting together the Discotheque release, it was just like so out there. I'm realizing how many frames I'm dropping. I'm so sorry, everybody. There's a lot of drop frames. We're going to turn the audio down for a minute and try to... just a little bit. Alright. Sorry, everybody. I don't know why the frames are dropping. That sucks. That's probably because I'm playing back the episode at the same time on the computer. Maybe I should get a little laptop and do it that way next time. Next time. Live and learn. We're going to do this again next month in November. I have invited Jason over Twitter. I don't think he's going to join, I'll be honest with you. But it'd be cool if he joined. Maybe we'll have a couple more people on the stream. Maybe I'll ask Brady to come on. See if he'll do it. So in the early parts of the Japanese version, the IG cut, there's a lot more Ninja Tune music, but as you'll notice in like going into the end of season 1 into the rest of season 2, like not so much. They really stopped using the Ninja Tune music and turned to library music. But these first 2 episodes, they're full of like Ninja Tune music, so that's pretty neat. But they have like little differences here and there. And there's also, of course, a lot more sound design by Brent Busby, who did the Toonami version, and is still the sound mixer on Toonami. He still does a lot of like, I think he does like music and like sound effects and all that stuff. He doesn't do all the music on Toonami, obviously, but he's made original tracks for stuff like The Intruder 2 and a couple of the other Thai events. The running skeleton. Here we go. I think this is pretty cool, actually. This is a cool way of like keeping the momentum going. Also, I just don't. Here's my question though. So like, there are like literal loop-de-loops, like spirals and loops and tunnels and stuff that have obstacles on this course, and to me, I'm just like, how does the running if they need the running skeleton there, how does it get there? Or is there another road? Like all this stuff, like it obviously has to be going as fast as the robots. But yeah, that's just kind of one of those things that I guess if you think about this show too hard, it gets becomes a problem physically. Obviously, we left physics far behind. I'm really sorry about all the dropped frames, everybody. I hope you can all hear me without issue. Next time I'll do this in 720p. Maybe that'll help. Can I change that now?
I can't believe this. What happened out there, Takashi?
I'm sick of this. Explain to me, why does everything always have to be my fault?
Whose fault is it then?
Next time we'll do this at 70. I'm also doing 60 frames a second. Maybe that's the problem. I should probably do 30. Sorry, everybody.
You always screw everything up.
I didn't screw things up.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, you did. We didn't know the formation is
What is going on? I have a good connection, but
you just want this figured out.
sorry, everybody.
Takashi, wait.
This is weird because I don't even have that many people going, but all right. Live and learn. We live and learn. Fix it for next time. So I hope you join me for the next one next month. I think that'll be a little more fun. This is more just I am goofing off and trying to figure this all out. Just making sure you guys can hear me totally fine, right? Even if the frames drop, you can still hear me and hear the video going. Live and learn for the next stream. And I'm going to go ahead and let everybody sync up again. There's our little squirrel buddy. Takashi, who spends... Okay, cool. So IGPX is... Sorry, Takashi is depressed at this point. Andre being a freaking scene stealer. There's Himawari Aoi, or Jesse Martin in the English version. Which, I don't know, Himawari Aoi is kind of hard to pronounce, so I'm glad they changed that one. It's kind of hard to pronounce. I had to practice it a couple times. I love that Michelle Rodriguez plays Liz Recaro. Like, She's another one who does an amazing job. It's a shame she doesn't do a lot of voiceover work. Apparently, she doesn't. She just doesn't do very. I mean, I understand why. It's probably more lucrative to be an on-camera person, but it's a shame. I think she has a really nice range and a really just a good voice, um, and she is pitch perfect casting for Liz Recaro. She does so well. What is going on? I'm literally hardwired in. I don't know what happened there. Oh, I see what's happening. I see the problem. I'm sorry about that. Yep, okay. We're back. Sorry about that, everybody. I'm gonna put the video back up. Sorry. Uh, Liz and Takashi are out. This is the scene that we're on right now. Sorry about that. I figured out what the problem was, so I will keep that in mind for the next stream. Should be much better now. It should be a lot easier to watch. So I'll let everybody catch up, and we'll do. You guys want to do the pilot, the Japanese version specifically? We won't do the Toonami version of the pilot. We'll do that one for maybe next month. That means switching out the discs at home. So. All right, we learn for next time, right? I'm so mad about the whole thing. Whatever. That's why I'm doing it on this one and not the Toonami version. The Toonami version, I care about more personally. I think it's a better version of the show. All right, that's enough. We're gonna stop the sync there. So hopefully y'all caught up. Takashi's about to be intimidated by our friends at Team Sledge Mama. Trying to think of anything else. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about the Japanese version, I feel. I'm sorry, everybody. But it's kind of wild how different they are. And, yeah. Liz sounds more like a typical, like, lead in a Japanese anime, I guess. There's no other way to put it. There's Fontaine. But like Liz in the English version, like she sounds, Latina, and she's supposed to be. She is from Puerto Rico. She's the one American on the team. Amy Stapleton is Irish. I think I said Italian. She's Irish. Sorry about that. And I think I said it on the commentary of the DVD release that she's Italian. She's Irish. And Takashi is obviously Japanese. Fontaine here are French. It's just wild how diverse the cast is in terms of just the animation. And of course their ethnicities. It's just a very diverse cast. Fontaine Valjean, obviously a Les Mis reference. If you've seen the show or read the book or seen the movie. I get, yeah, there's a couple of movies out from Les Mis. Game over. Takashi got distracted by a girl, haha. He's a teenager, of course. Liz being very introspective, but also like, she expects a lot of Takashi, and he's been he's kind of a jerk at this point. He's a cocky kid, and this is the first time I feel like he's really been knocked on his ass throughout the like my personal history of like the IG team, the Satomi team through their journey in the IG3 and the IG2 is that Takashi kept like ignoring his teammates and just making running gunning for it. He doesn't really care about them, and he kept winning races. So he just was like, oh, like this seems to work. I'm going to keep the strategy up. And then, he gets to the IG1 and Team Sledge Mama just tosses him aside like it's nothing. And it's just like, you have to do better. You can't, that strategy ain't going to fly here. And I like that, it's going to be drilled into him that he can't do that. All right, so we're coming up to the end of episode 2 here, where I'm going to put this moment up on screen when it comes up so everybody can sync once again, and also so that I can talk about it, because I think it's a really cool moment. Kind of reminds me of Outlaw Star. Liz is always a hothead. Don't call her that, man. That's just mean. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this up because I like the scene. It's just a little moment. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I feel like were Cartoon Network solely in charge of the show, I don't think we would have seen something like this. It's just a little moment of Takashi in bed visualizing himself. And this is all Hongo. This is all Hongo's direction. Just like, yeah, I want these little character moments to really develop these characters and have these moments. And I think it works beautifully. I think this is one of the best scenes in the show. It's just so good. And also the levity of it, having his sister kind of walk in on him in this somewhat personal and embarrassing moment of him like pretending to pilot a mech. Anyways, all right, scene's over. But I love the little moments like that, and there's a lot of them throughout the show. It gets a lot better in season 2, balancing between the action and those character moments. And I think that, but I love, for me, the action doesn't work without those character moments, without really falling in love with this team and falling in love with this world. And season 1 puts in a lot of work so that season 2 can fly. I think, putting in the work this early, maybe it turned off people on Cartoon Network because they're like, there's nothing going on. There's nothing happening. Where's the race? All that stuff. Like, it's already over. And the rest of the episode is like a bunch of characters talking. So, I think that on a kids network at the time probably wasn't the best thing. Because, like, you're watching Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Z has a lot of episodes where people are just screaming. But it's like, oh man, screaming, woo! Maybe they'll fight a little. But it keeps your attention, and I feel like IGPX might have had the problem of like, well, there's all these little character moments and like all this build up, and it takes too long to really get to the races and like have them really play out the way that they start playing out later on. But yeah, almost to the end of the episode here. We're 18 minutes in. Like, yeah, there's a whole interaction between the mechanic and the nurse here, like Jesse and Mark. This whole like scene is nothing but character development, and they're like talking, and just it's a lot of talking, and there's no the race is already over. There's no more racing for this episode. And I think that's kind of bold for Toonami and IG, knowing that the show was kind of meant for kids, to like really stand by that and like, we're going to build these characters, and we don't want like this two-dimensional thing. We want it to be something more. Didn't work out though. All right. Coming up to the end of the episode here. So any quick questions or anything like that? We might watch the micro series, and I'll leave it up the entire time. I think the micro series probably won't get in trouble if I play that. Probably. And we'll watch that one in Japanese, so that I can have the subtitles up. Because I don't think people really watch that version of the show, of the pilot specifically. Like, nobody really watches the Japanese version. I never hear anybody talk about it. So we'll put it up at least maybe the first episode, and see what happens. It's weird. I'm so weird. Like, I recently rewatched the micro series, and like it doesn't hold up as well as the show. The show is so much better. But yet every time I talk to people, everybody remembers the micro series version, the pilot, a lot more fondly than I think IGPX. I think IGPX was just wrong place, wrong time. A lot of it. I think the move to Saturdays, because this premiered when Toonami moved to Saturdays. I think if this was on the weekdays, I think it'd be more fondly remembered. I think a lot more people would have watched the show. But oh well. And then the DVD sales didn't help. I think Bondi's DVD release, while not bad, it was confusing. And because I was a fan of the show and I didn't know what I bought for a very long time, so that was weird. All right, we're coming up to the end of the episode here. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. There's not much more. There's a bunch of speeches and a joke at the end where Takashi's like, "Well, I'm hungry, guys. I am hungry. I just ate and I'm still hungry." Meow. So the voice actress in Japanese for Luca is also like, so the mech voice is also the voice, like, she, instead of a real cat making noises, it's her going yeah. So that's kind of funny. All right, we're at the end of the episode. Credits, woo! Again, this song, which don't care about. This was kind of cool though. Like, I liked the fact that we were able to get the Japanese credits, because Bondi translated their credits on the DVD. Ours have the original kanji or katakana or whatever that is. I can't read Japanese. Sorry, everybody. But having that was just like pretty neat. And the reason we had it was because we had the original DVD master from Japan, and that was the version. They also sent us the Bondi DVD encodes. They didn't send us masters. They sent us like the literal DVD ripped files. And I think that was that's probably what we'll use. Until I got involved, and I was like, this is a bad idea. Actually, that's what we were going to use, because we didn't know what materials we had access to. That was the kind of the thing for a long time where we were like, what can we use? What can't we use? One of the things that was like a big breakthrough for us was like going to the tapes of IGPX, the broadcast Toonami tapes. That was a whole process of getting those and like retransferring those, and then retransferring the Japanese version as well from tape. That was a huge process that took a long time because tape runs in real time. All right, I gotta make sure I pause this because I don't want to play the next episode. Next episode, it's Liz and she's talking to us. Woo! I'm glad we got these next episode previews though. They are not translated or they're not dubbed. They never dubbed them, but they are translated on our release. Okay, pause. So, I'm going to wait for the chat to catch up. Micro series, are we in? Do we want to do it? I'm going to pull it up just in case. That's not it. Sorry. It's on the Toonami version, I think, right? Nope, that's the movie cut. Where is it? Disc 3. There it is. Okay. We're going to watch the Japanese version. All right. Let me know in the chat. Yes, no. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Want to watch the Japanese version of the pilot? We have, I believe, 4 viewers, so give me a heads up. Malik, you gave me one of these. I don't know if that's a yes, or if you're playing the game. I'll still wait for I think the thing is still loading here. Okay. Yes, cool. Malik wants to watch it. All right, that's good enough for me. Give me a moment to All right, so for everybody who is syncing up the DVDs, you're going to want oh god, it's upside down. You're going to want disc 3 of the Toonami version here. It's this one. Disc 3 of the Toonami version. I know it's upside down. Disc 3 of the Toonami version. You need to pull that one up. We'll play the first episode, I think, intact, and the other ones we won't. But yeah, it's gonna be disc 3 Toonami version. I'll let some people catch up because I know people probably have to change DVDs. I'll start in the next. I'll start at 53. I was looking at my watch, but I don't have a watch. I just have a wristband. The time's up here. It's on my computer screen. I'll turn the music back on, though. That's the Herbalizer. That's the IGPX theme song. It is really coming down outside. Alright, so once again, Disc 3, Toonami Cut. Hope you guys all catch up with us and watch. We're watching the Japanese version because I think it's not seen that often. It's in the features menu, so if you go back to the main menu, this is the menu that comes up, and just head to the features and go down to the IGPX Pilot Director's Cut Japanese version. So this was directed by Koichi Mashimo. I should probably look up what he's done. I know he's done a lot of stuff. Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff for like B-Train. Let me look up some of the stuff. He worked on Gatchaman 2. He worked on Eat Man. He worked on Dot Hack Sign. A lot of them. Actually, he worked on like I think all of the. It seems like all the Dot Hack stuff. But he was the director on Dot Hack Sign. Legend of Twilight. He directed Mad Lax. He directed Tsubasa Chronicle. Man, he seems to have directed all of Dot Hack, not just Sign. There's a lot of Dot Hack on his resume. He was a segment producer on Batman Gotham Knight Field Test. He worked on Halo Legends. So yeah, he hasn't done anything since 2011, so he might be retired. But he does a lot of stuff, man. All right, it is 3:53, so we are going to go ahead and start the IGPX pilots in Japanese. So there will be subtitles on the screen. I'll be honest, I watched the Toonami version, which is better, and it doesn't hold up as well as I'd hoped. But yeah, let me make this a little louder. For those of you that don't know, the Japanese version has literally the same song every episode, just play through like 5 times over. This is not the anniversary of this version of the show, but thought I'd play it anyways. See, maybe it's just because I've been with CNN for a while now. Like, the thing that kind of bothers me about the show, I know it's giant robots and whatnot, but it's also like the kids have guns. And they get guns pointed at them, and they're not lasers, they're like big versions of miniguns and assault rifles, and they're kind of out there weaponry, but it's still like, I wish they weren't using guns. So yeah, it kind of bothers me. I don't have a problem with stuff like Gundam, where obviously Gundams have guns and stuff, but that's supposed to be like a darker series, and this is a game, we're just, this is kind of like paintball, but it's like, I don't like them using real guns. This gambling subplot, but which made it through to the broadcast version. We'll watch it next month. Whoop. What kind of content do I have access to? Not much. I mean, the only reason I had access to IGPX was because of my CNN credentials. For those of you that don't know, CNN and Cartoon Network and Adult Swim we're all under the Warner Media family. So, and I also have a pre-existing relationship with Adult Swim. I knew a lot of the people who work there, who still work there, and so in terms of materials access, it's on a case-by-case basis. I kind of have to ask permission. On IGPX, the big thing was getting tapes from them, but like I couldn't take up too much of their time because they're busy doing shows that cost way more and like are way more important. They don't have time to focus on the show that is kind of old and nobody cares that much about. So that was a big thing where like I think had I not been at CNN, I don't think the release would have turned out as well as it did because I wouldn't have had access to tapes. They would have probably said no, like you can't have access to these, and we needed that. We absolutely needed them. CJ said hello. I do know Jason. Does he know you? I don't talk to him very often. I talk to him when I need to talk to him because I don't want to bug him too much. He's a very busy guy. He's like a senior vice president, so like, yeah, I don't talk to him very often. But on this release, everything went through him for the Toonami stuff. Like he was involved. He did a lot of he did commentaries for us. He got me in touch with like a lot of the people who I needed to talk to on the technical side to get said tapes, like Jonathan Delgado and Chris Hartley, like really put together a lot of stuff. So yeah, just super cool. I've been at CNN since 2014. Is that when you've known him, CJ? Since 2014? I'll wait for you to respond. But in the meantime, this version, so getting this onto our DVD actually wasn't that hard because Bondi basically did all the work for us. We just kind of ported it over and just didn't say anything. It was really easy to port this one over because it was done. So yeah, it was really easy. You can tell how kind of rough this is, like, because I don't think this ever was meant to be released, but they were like, screw it, just put it, because it's not on the Japanese DVDs either. As far as I know, this has never been released in Japan. It only came out in the US. So I'm glad we were able to keep it and port it over to our Discotheque release. For those of you that are just joining us, we are watching Disc 3 of the Discotheque IGPX release. We're watching the IGPX pilots, the Japanese version. But yeah. And if you're noticing the soundtrack, it's the exact same song as the last episode. It does not change no matter what's happening on screen. It's just temp music, and they were just like, just play it over and over and over and over again, which is why this version is worse. I have not been paying attention to what's happening on screen. That's right. Problem. Yeah. So Bondi Entertainment is gone. Bondi Entertainment was one of the U.S. branches of Bondi Visual. Bondi Visual is part of the Namco Bandai Corporation. They handle basically a lot of the anime stuff that they produce, and Bondi Visual had a branch called Bondi Entertainment in America, and they kind of work together. And there was also Bondi Visual USA. That's a whole different story. But basically, both of those branches got shut down. Bondi pulled out of the market because they just weren't doing very well, and they just decided to license all this stuff. But a lot of the people at Bondi Entertainment are still with Bondi Visual Japan. Like Kenny Adomi the big reason that Gundam is on TV is because of Kenny Idomi. Kenny Idomi ran Bandai Entertainment and pitched Gundam Wing to Toonami, and got a lot of Bandai shows on Toonami. They were a big cheerleader and big believer in getting shows on TV. And because of that relationship, Ken introduced, I think, Jason to a lot of the people over at Sean and Jason, excuse me. Sean was still at, I've never met Sean. Sean was still at Cartoon Network at the time. He probably introduced them to a lot of the people like Maki and at Production IG, and they've gone on and made a lot of co-productions together since. I'm really excited about Uzumaki. I'm so excited about Uzumaki. I can't wait to see that. And Blade Runner and all that stuff. But as for IGPX, and to answer your question about Bandai Entertainment, Bandai Entertainment dissolved back in 2012. They kind of went away. But Bandai Visual Japan, the big Japanese branch, is still around. So they still put out a lot of anime. They're still pulling out Gundam. They still put out, I can't think of any Bandai shows. But they still put out a lot of stuff. So they still exist. And a lot of the people from Bandai Entertainment, like Ken, went to work for Bandai Visual proper. This is our network debut. I wonder if anybody knows who's actually in this show. Like, I have no idea who the voice cast is. Because there's no credits for it, and we couldn't find any. So I'm going to look them up. There was also a game that someone put together, like actually put the game back together. The old immersion event game that went along with this. I wonder if it's still out there. No, there's literally nobody credited on the Japanese version. And I have no clue who any of the voices are. What drives me to do what I do? In terms of IGPX, I just really like the show. I really, really love this show, and getting to work on the DVD was something I really, really wanted to do, because I knew how complicated this show really is in terms of just like releasing it. And my big fear was, doing what Bandai Entertainment did and releasing two separate versions of the show. And I'm like, that's going to confuse people. I know this show really well, and I still had a problem trying to figure it out. Why did this grow so big? Sorry. Trying to fix it. There we go. Sorry, my VLC window went kind of haywire there. But yeah, it was just like, it was trying to figure that, trying to get that to do come out correctly. I knew the only way to like release the show and have people buy it is just release everything in one package. Like, we could not separate the versions of the show. We had to put everything in one package so that when you bought this, you knew that you had everything. No matter what, you have everything on this release. So that was the big deal for me. Like, I just didn't want to separate anything. It was just too confusing to explain the show to people. And I think that's a big reason why the Bond Entertainment DVDs, I don't think they sold very well. I also want the old PS2 game. Great Pretender might have been a Bandai JP thing. Probably, I guess. I would assume Netflix either licenses or ends up on production committees of shows. Need a replacement of disc 1. Sorry. I can't help you with that. Look into getting one if you need a replacement, because we're going to watch those episodes next month. We'll be watching disc 1 next month. I don't know why the screen is flickering so much on the feed, but whatever. I have not been paying attention. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the pilot here. I don't really care for it. Oh, Right Stuff definitely has copies of IGPX still. Yeah, but you can totally get it. Yeah. This is so. I've never understood like why Amy isn't there. I know she's off getting the guns. She's getting the weaponry from Sir Hamgra, but like, wouldn't that disqualify her for not being there like on time? Like, I don't know. The rules are so vague. I don't know. There's just a lot about the pilot that I don't really like anymore. I think it was cool at the time. It was like really cool at the time. I remember being a big fan of the pilot and just like being super engaged with it, but like watching it now, I don't think it holds up very well. Especially the Japanese version, which there are literally no credits for. I have no idea who's in it. Well, there are credits. There are credits for the English version, and they include like the Japanese crew, but they don't include the cast. So, sorry everybody. We have no idea who's in this. It's a shame. It sounds like the Japanese voice actors are doing fine. Oh, he said, damn. Well, that definitely didn't make it to Toonami. There's Amy with the guns. She almost shot Liz. Actually, there's like twice in this show that Liz almost gets shot. 3 times. Oh my god, Liz is just a bullet magnet. It's kind of cool that they kept most of the names, like Major Hamgra. But he's not Major Hamgra in IGPX, he's Sir Hamgra. Liz, Takashi, Amy. They all have different voice actors, obviously. Luca. So Luca is voiced by a person in the English and Japanese version of this version of the show. In the actual IGPX show, Luca is voiced by a cat in the English version. Like, it's a real like cat making meow meow noises. And then the Japanese version has someone going, yeah. It's like, okay. I always thought that was kind of goofy. It's not that hard to find cat sound effects. Pick it up. I'm okay. I'm happy that Right Stuff actually sold out. That means the show is hopefully selling well. I have no idea. I'll be honest with you. I have no clue how this is doing, but it sold out on Amazon a couple of times and it sold out on Right Stuff. So I'm going to hope and pray that's a good sign. But this has been out for 5 years now? 4 years? 4 years. This came out in 2016, February. So about 4 years. Oh no, my window's being all weird. Ah! Sorry, everybody. I gotta fix that. I don't know why it keeps changing sizes. I wish it wouldn't do that. I'm watching the ISO files via VLC. These are the DVD masters, basically. This is the 4th episode where Liz calls her body a memory card, and she like drills in the reflexes and all this stuff into her soul, into her body, so that she can do all these cool karate moves. I feel like it kind of implies that she has a cyber brain, but she doesn't, as far as I can tell. She just keeps, her move set in her memory, like her human memory. Yep, we're on the 4th episode. For those of you that are catching up, hopefully you're syncing up to this. We are on the 4th episode of the IGPX pilot, the Japanese version specifically. OPD. Grandpa. I'm so confused. Because in the English version, it's the same mama. I don't know. It's so weird. This pilot, I'm kind of glad that they changed a lot of the stuff. Because I just don't think it... I just don't think it's that interesting, honestly. Because like you have to remember at the time that this was being made, like Gundam had like 20 shows, and they're all giant robots with kids with guns. It doesn't matter that this is a game. It's giant robots and kids with guns, you know. And it's like we've seen that. Like Gundam Wing already did that. I don't think this is doing anything that interesting or new, but yet people keep talking about this version of the show, and it's the more popular one. Maybe this could have gone somewhere. I know this is like a little bit of a darker show than the IGPX that we got, but I appreciate the fact that we didn't do that, and we went with a more with a more light tone. I appreciate the levity of IGPX, where the stakes are the competition. It's not life or death. Technically, this is not life or death either. The hide shell protects everybody. But you know, I don't know. Maybe what do you guys think in the chat? Like, do you think this version of the show is more interesting? Do you think it's less interesting? I personally think it's just less interesting. I think the racing robots, just there's a lot more to do. I think there's more to explore. Spread those legs. Hi, Caboose. Hey, Caboose. Caboose. How far behind is the stream? It's pretty far. I'm just realizing now. Yeah, I prefer this for not the pilot, the 26 episode series over the pilot so much more. All right, we're almost done with this episode. It is so weird because this is supposed to be a sad moment, but again, it's the same song over and over again. You can tell how rough this kind of is, and Toonami basically cleaned it up a little bit. Amy, use the hide shell. Go. Off she goes. I'm gonna reveal something that nobody has ever found out about in the next episode. I'll reveal something that about the DVD release that we had to fix. And we'll watch it, I guess, next time. So again, if you're just joining us, this is the Japanese version. We're coming up to the final segment of the IGPX pilot, the Japanese version. We'll watch the other one next month. Oh god, the window keeps changing on me. Stop it, VLC. This is OPE. We're on disc 3 of the Toonami version, so hopefully you'll catch up. Okay, here we go. So this shot right here, this did not air on Toonami. We had to, and we didn't have the master for it, so we had to recreate. So you see his butt. We had to recreate the steam cloud that he's supposed to be in. That was kind of interesting. We had to recreate that shot. I believe the rest of this is exactly the same. But yeah, that was the one shot that we had to recreate. Nobody's noticed. Now everybody's going to notice because I just told everybody. But yeah, we had to fix that shot. We had to redo that shot because it didn't exist. So that was fun. The remaking the broadcast version for the DVD, I'll be honest, we didn't have access to the best materials. So like that was a big problem for us. Loud as fuck siren. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse. But yeah, that was the big thing for us to like try to get the broadcast version because it wasn't on the Bandai release. And recreating that with like the elements that we had was a little bit of a task. It wasn't that hard because we just knew that we couldn't make it look amazing. I think it looks okay, but I watch it now and I'm like, there's stuff that I could fix now. There's a lot of things with this release. I'm like, I could have fixed that. I could have fixed that. I wish I did a little more time. But I feel like that's the case with every release. Like every single release I work on with Discotech, there's always like, if only I had done that. If only I had done this. So I don't. I try not to watch the DVDs and the Blu-rays that I work on because I'm just like, could have fixed that. Could have had a little more time, but nope. Because it'll just drive me insane. Does he make the Ninja Turtle reference in this version? I don't think so. Oh, he does. Okay, he says Ninja Turtles. I always thought that was just a Toonami thing, but no, apparently it's from the Japanese version. Sledge Mama is such a nothing team in this movie. Like they say a bunch of gibberish nonsense because they're supposed to be robots, and I'm like, okay, just makes them not a very interesting antagonist. I do like the move where he cuts off his arm and slices the robot. I think that's cool, but like, again, I wish it was more sci-fi. In terms of like the weaponry, I wish they weren't using so many guns. All right, we're coming up to the end here. We're almost done. And they leave this on a cliffhanger that we never resolved because we never continued this version of the show. Sorry, I didn't mean to shake the desk. Yeah, this whole gambling plot line. I'm glad we didn't do gambling in the full series either. There's all this cybernetic military stuff. It's like, I don't know. I feel like that's not a very, especially on Toonami. Like if this version had gone ahead, it'd be airing against Gundam Seed, and I feel like there may be too many things that overlap between those two shows. So I'm glad that they didn't do that, but I guess it didn't help because like the show wasn't that successful. They did it. That's the end. Woo! Now we're gonna hear the end song one more time. IGPX ending E. Rated E for everyone. Or is an E, this is the E episode. A, B, C, D, E. Alright. That is it. I'm going to take off here in a minute, but I'm going to look at the chat one more time before I head off. Any final thoughts anybody wants to share? I hope you'll all join me next month. I'm going to do this again, either the first or second Saturday, whichever I can figure out. This was mostly just kind of a test to see if I could even do it. I want it to be much better for the actual Toonami version, and I learned that I should not have the VPN on when I'm streaming. I should turn that off. That's why you were seeing drop frames at the beginning of the broadcast. So I'm sorry about that, everybody. But that's fixed. I will keep that in mind for next time. Turn the VPN off. This was a little watch party. I'm glad you all enjoyed it, and I'm glad that y'all joined me. Rather, I don't know if y'all enjoyed it. You might have hated this. I don't care. It was fun for me. So, and it was kind of like going down memory lane a little bit. I'm gonna take a look at the chat, and then I'm gonna get out of here because I want to go eat or sleep or drink. Any final thoughts? CJ, Caboose, Malik, Arthur was in the chat earlier. Frank was in the chat. Anybody else? Yes, I enjoyed this very much. Cool. All right. Aw, Caboose, I hurt you too. Once the world is back to normal, I hope to see you again. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off. Thank you for joining me. See you all next month. Check my Twitter account, Arguing Meadows, at Arguing Meadows. I should have a date set, or if you're subscribed to this YouTube channel, I'll put the date like when we're gonna do this again. Hope you all join me. If you don't have the IGPX DVD release, make sure you get it for next time and watch along at home. Thank you all for joining me, and I will see you next month, hopefully. Check the Twitter account or subscribe. I'll have the date up. Thanks.